The license plate reads 3CP462. Alright. Now, this is a reference to SCP-462, codenamed the Getaway Car. And the Getaway Car is described as being a rusty El Camino, Chevy El Camino, that instantly teleports people to their destination, but in dangerous ways. And this is not something that teleports people, but it definitely will get you to your destination. And the description for the SCP in the file matches the description or the look. That's what I'm talking about. That was sick. I'm gonna click that shit. Oh wait, no, I already did the thing. So I should be able to click it from chat. Oh, I didn't make you a mod either. Let me make you a mod, bro. So you can do this shit too for me. Yeah. I wanna see it. How many kills did I even get this game? It's only 4. Oh yeah? Let me look at the highlight. Yeah.
Finally, if you want to use the National Guard, a governor of that state is in control of the National Guard, so Trump has no control of that. If you have a guy who's like in the blue state and Trump orders him to use the National Guard, he can refuse, and Trump cannot do shit about it.
Good job, good job.
Directly the governor.
I swear to God.
Happy to hear something. It takes away all of the weight and momentum. But this is going to come back later. I do want to put this out later because, like I said, I thought that this was interesting, but I will be harping on it. So, we are now introduced to our main character, Jeff, a young man presumably mid-teens because, once again, God forbid they give us any kind of age to really give an idea. Not even like a grade. Like they say, because the whole thing here is
That was the highlight? It was the highlight for you? That was funny as shit, dude. Oh, that's a nice highlight that I got for me. Fucking them up. Oh. Got him. That was sick. Jarvis clipped that. And it's not the same thing every single time. When you do space ripples, the objective will always change. There's only been a couple of them that I've seen so far. Like, there's one where a Gatling gun drops and you have to shoot a lot of enemies at once. And, like the one I just did where you have to kill all the eggs and stop all the guys from spawning. Oh yeah! I really did feel like Iron Man right there. Oh wait, no, I don't want to watch that shit. Daimacho. Oh. macho. Die macho every day. They're just like, why is this guy saying weed? This is the craziest PvP experience. Alright, motherfuckers. I am here. And what's going on? I'm gonna be a little bit disoriented a bit right now because I just decided to stand up because sitting down was hurting my fucking back for some reason. Zoom out a bit for this. Yeah, we got a lot of crazy shit going on in the world right now. Being that the entire geopolitical global positioning of the United States has just shifted hardcore in the direction towards Russia. Where else? Russia. You know, our favorite quote-unquote ally. Right? Quote-unquote big ass fucking quote-unquotes. Only ally right now that really seems Russia is oligarchs that are retarded, aka Trump. Let's see if I can lift this screen. For those of you who don't know, for everyone who's just finding out through me, Trump holds all support from Ukraine. He really just said, you know what, fuck it, fuck you Ukraine, fuck you Zelensky. You made me look like a fool. You made me feel like a child. You made me act like a child. That's what he was thinking, right? Because he acted like a child. He is a child, and he acted like a child, right? We're gonna talk about that though. We're gonna talk about what the fuck happened again, since apparently, you know, people forget shit within microseconds after witnessing stuff, but briefly go over what unfolded again and what they're saying is the reasoning for these decisions or these feelings, right, against Zelensky. So again, he's pausing all U.S. military aid and trying to pressure Zelensky to end the war early, right? And you know, he has a lot of ridiculous criticisms towards Zelensky that's obviously born from Russian propaganda, right? The idea that he's a dictator who forced himself into power, right? That he potentially is actually putting these people through more death and suffering on purpose, you know, for monetary gains, you know, all types of ridiculous fucking accusations. And in my mind, the most ridiculous accusation is that he was being rude and disrespectful towards President Trump and the United States of America, which is fucking ridiculous. If anybody who's seen the interview, if you've seen the interview, you would know that he did nothing to warrant that response. The response is already pushed onto him. It wasn't really a response. Zelensky was responding to aggression, right? All Zelensky was doing when he was there was trying to, as gracefully as he can, explain to Trump, which, you know, explaining anything to Trump is a fucking, that's an incredible feat to do if you even pull it off in the first place, right? But he's trying to explain to Trump why it's bad for not just Ukraine or Europe, but for the entire world, the United States especially, if Putin gets his way, right? If he succeeds in literally anything at this point when it comes to his war in Ukraine, he's going to get exactly what he wanted, right? And what I mean by that, right, he does not need to win all of Ukraine to secure a victory, right? What Putin has been doing on and off, over and over and over again, is he'll invade his neighbors, right? One of his neighbors he'll choose who's gonna target. He'll go in there, he'll fight a war, he'll take whatever territory he can, right? Whether or not it's a complete takeover or maybe just a little bit, but he'll take it and he'll argue ridiculous shit like the people that are there are actually Russian, and that they want to be saved, so he's technically like saving them from their country or whatever. And you know, if the rest of the world doesn't do anything about it, and all they do is basically say, hey, you gotta stop doing this shit for now, you know, we'll let you keep what you took if you stop doing this shit for now, he's gonna take that deal every fucking time. And every time he's gonna say to himself, well, I guess all I gotta do right now is lick my wounds, get my shit back together, and do it again. Because it's gonna be the same response again and again and again. He's aware of this. Easy manipulation tactic, right? It's very easy to do. It's con man shit, right? It's con man shit. It's very easy to do. He makes his promise that he's not gonna do it again, but nobody stopped him, so he just goes ahead and does it again, right? Nobody stops him, really. They just warn him. They put a lot of pressure on him other ways, right? Like the United States and a lot of European countries, they might tariff some of his shit. They might stop getting imports, exports for some of his shit. You know, they'll make his life in the country and the people in his country suffer, essentially, for his actions in response to that. But they never take it to where they need to, right? So, here it is again. Here he is doing this again. He's making it seem as if Ukraine did something to provoke this attack from him, right? He's making it seem like there are people living in Ukraine who apparently are Russian and want to be freed from Zelensky, right? That's a bullshit claim. You know, it's obvious that his popularity in Ukraine's through the roof, right? He wants to make it seem like it was absolutely necessary for him to do this, and that he has to get something out of this, right? We need, for some reason, Trump, the Republicans, MAGA, feel the need to appease Putin, because I guess they want to give him a participation trophy or an effort trophy, right? A for effort, for doing something, right? And feeling bad that he's going to lose out completely, so I guess just give him whatever it is that he wants for now, which is all the land that he's taken so far, instead of just driving him out entirely. I don't get this. I don't understand why MAGA, they hear this and they don't think that this is the most pussy coward fucking action that anyone could take when it comes to war, right? This is like the same shit that the English did when the Vikings would come and raid all their stuff. It was literally the same fucking shit. They would come, they would bust in their doors and kill all their fucking women and children and take all their fucking money, right? They'll do this to a bunch of towns, then the king, like a pussy, will come out and be like, hey, can you stop doing this? I'll just give you a bunch of fucking money if you stop doing this, right? We'll just give you a bunch of shit if you stop doing this. We'll give you all the shit that you would have taken from me anyway if you just stop doing this. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, whatever. It sounds good to me. They go back home and they're like, let's do this again next fucking year. And they rinse and repeat. They rinse and repeat. Because, you know, obviously you're not going to do anything to stop them from coming in there and taking whatever it is the fuck that they want. Obviously. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they don't win everything. They win something. They win enough for it to matter. Right? It's real firepower. It's literally real firepower. They come in, they do real firepower, and they take all their shit. They take all your shit with real firepower. And then that's the end of that. What is scaring these people so much? I must know what is scaring them. And I did a little digging, and it didn't take that much digging to find out what is scaring them. It's nuclear bombs, right? Nuclear weapons. These people, Republican MAGA retards, are falling for the bluff. They're falling for the age-old bluff that Putin, not only Putin, but North Korea and a lot of these other fucking dictators who happen to have nuclear weapons for one reason or another, they all do the same shit. They know, we know, smart people know. I want to say smart people know. It would be really, really ridiculously not even retarded. No, that's not even a good word for it. It's not ridiculous. It's not a good word for it. It would be catastrophic for Putin if he were to actually do something as insane as use a nuclear weapon in an offensive attack, right? That is catastrophic. The world, he doesn't have a lot of supporters in the world. Let's just say that. And the people who do support him, right? They're not going to agree with that. They're definitely not okay with that, especially if they plan on entering in with geopolitical deals with that said country, and they're opposing other nuclear powers, right? It does not look. It's not a matter of it doesn't look good. It just doesn't translate well, strategically speaking, on all levels, for him to do that. But MAGA, Trump, they fall for it. They believe it. I guess they believe it. Some of these audience, I guess, believes it because they'll reason with him trying to cater to Putin and give him what he wants. They're trying to reason with him as if, if we don't do this, this is how they think of it. If we don't do this, he's just going to blow up and glass Ukraine, right? He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. They're acting as if he loses this war, or he doesn't get anything from this war, then he's losing everything, right? And that's not the case. He didn't put all his chips in one basket yet. He did not. He put a lot of his military in this shit and got fucking wrecked, but he learned a lot. He still had a lot to gain from this, right? There's a lot more nuance going on here, as it is with everything else. So, this solution only enables Putin. And in every single negotiating tactic that Trump has put out, literally every single one, Ukraine loses and Russia wins something. Every single one. The criticism does not make any sense, so fucking leaned over towards Ukraine being the bad guy from the MAGA party, which it just doesn't hold water, just doesn't hold anything. Like, I don't get how they could lean so much into this. But what is Europe doing, right? Because, Ukraine isn't completely left in the water right now anymore. I mean, it never really was in the first place in terms of support from international communities. But Europe, in terms of Britain, England, and other European powers, France, they're coming together and they are trying to do some deals, trying to give their own support, militarily speaking, financially speaking, to Ukraine to try to keep up the fight. The UK announces a $2 billion deal, right, to fund the air defense missiles. I don't know if this is enough. It's really hard to say. One thing that was interesting that I learned recently was that Ukraine, having been dealing with a lot of modern day warfare shit that other countries don't really deal with, like drones, for example, is teaching us a lot, right? It's giving us a lot of information about how to deal with that kind of stuff, right? So when you hear criticism about how we have nothing to gain from this, right? That alone shows that we do have a lot to gain from this, right? We get to have an inside look at how Russia does their military operations, right? And we also get to experiment with and research new techniques in terms of fighting against drone warfare and more advanced, complicated shit, right? So we do have a lot to gain from this beyond just giving them money and old equipment and that's it, Again, as well, the most important reasons why you want to, why we should be fighting with Ukraine and helping them push against Russia. The biggest reason is not just because Russia's our global rival, right? But it also shows that other countries can't follow suit, right? Again, who's here fighting with Russia right now is North Korea. So if Russia can get away with this kind of stuff, right? Who's to say that Russia's allies also can't get away with this stuff? Especially if they support each other and do that kind of stuff with each other, right? This is setting crazy precedent. It's like the same types of geopolitical mishaps and bullshit that occurred and led right up to World War II, right? And it's very unnerving to see this in live action and happening so fast. Because to think about this, it's only been a month and some change. You know, Trump promised all wars would be over in 24 hours, which was of course an impossible promise right away, right? But it's crazy that in such a short time, he's made enough decisions that leads to arguably more war and destruction, right? US signals Ukraine minerals deal possible as Europe floats peace proposals. This is a racket. This is extortion. It literally is extortion. Trump asking for the minerals and stuff like that, that whole agreement, right? Which Zelensky had said that he was kind of open to, only to keep that bridge open for, you know, ensuring security guarantees, which never occurred. It was already extortion, right? There's no reason why we would need to demand more from this country, especially when their minerals, half of their minerals are like seized right now. Like a lot of the quarries and shit in which they would even extract these resources are under like fucking Russian control, or they're just abandoned because, you know, they're in the middle of the war front. Like, what the fuck? It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense on paper, right? We have dipshits too, like this idiot from UK. I don't even know who this guy is, but I'm hearing the same sentiment. I'm hearing the same rhetoric from multiple different people on the right, that for some reason took what Zelensky was saying and doing as offensive, right? Which I can't wrap my mind around. But let's hear his excuse or his reasoning for this, right? Let's see if I can pull this up again, because I had this shit running just fine before. Did they drop the charges on God? No, they definitely won't. He's going straight to jail. He hit a kid. Kid died. So, and he said, "Fuck you, I'm not resurrecting him." Crazy times. Here we go, I got the video up.
Our Prime Minister was briefed and briefed and briefed as to how to deal with the visit.
Not Zelensky's fault, is it?
All right, if Zelensky wants to bowl in and show no respect to a man who we all know
Bowling
is
into the White House
incredibly
is what he
old-fashioned
said.
about this stuff, and he really
When
is.
you say this stuff, you mean manners, dress,
Very
shoes?
much so. Very
your
much.
shoes have to be shined. It's like,
Oh.
So, obviously, this is bullshit. It's the most fucking retarded thing I've heard. It makes me angry when I hear this stuff because it reminds me of the shit that they used to say when Obama was in office, like criticizing him about wearing a beige suit or whatever the fuck it is, or putting mustard on his hot dog or whatever the fuck he put on his hot dog that one day, right? It's irrelevant, and they never apply the criticism fucking outright. Like Musk, he's walking around the Oval Office in trench coat and fucking jeans and a pedophile look, right? His kids wiping boogers on the Resolute desk. Fucking, they're doing the shuffle on the fucking rug. He's waving around chainsaws, bro. Like, why do you guys not give a fuck about that at all? But all of a sudden, you know, fucking Zelensky walks in wearing just a t-shirt and jeans or whatever it is, and that offends you to no end, to no fucking end. Right? We're talking about the people who complained about the left being snowflakes, right, for 8 years or 10 years, right? Those are the same people apparently, right, who complain about people being too fucking sensitive are risking and threatening World War III towards other political leaders because what, they didn't wear a suit and shirt? The fuck? What's going on, Java? I have no idea what you just said. Oh man. Let me see. How can I go about trying to figure that out. Oh, I know. My phone. I have a beautiful, beautiful phone. And apparently, you guys don't know this. I'm starting to learn a lot, actually, when it comes to taking photos and searching shit up and looking things up. You could, if you have an iPhone at least, you could translate text by just taking a picture of it, which is pretty fucking cool. And there's also, yesterday, this was actually crazy. Me and my girlfriend were watching, what was it, those scary videos and ghosts and shit on YouTube. And there was this location that they showed on, what was it, New Jersey somewhere? And it looked familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I took a picture of it and I just did a Google search for it, and I found immediately where it was. It's greetings. He said greetings. Greetings to you, Java. Welcome. How's it going? I'm glad I didn't say anything crazy. Yes. So, the accusations make no sense, right? First, it's his clothes, right? Then it's the things he was saying. They took offense to him talking about how, you know, we may not feel the effects of what's going on immediately, but eventually we will, right? Him telling Trump that Trump was really pissed off for some reason. He took that as a direct threat. Obviously not a threat. I feel like anyone with like a kindergarten level of comprehension when it comes to conversations would be able to tell that that's not a threat, right? That's not a threat. You could take that as a warning, right? At most, but it's not a threatening warning, right? Definitely not that at all. Again, I don't understand why one would feel so offended by such a unimportant bullshit fucking sentence or statement. It's not about that though. And in my analysis, I think the whole argument was planned. I think it really was. I think they planned out to ambush him like that on television, right? So they could twist it into some nonsense about him being disrespectful and him not being thankful and him not wanting to, you know, help us out, like as if it's a, you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours type of situation. They wanted to do that so they could have an excuse to pull the plug on Ukraine. And I think that Trump and the party believed that if they were to just pull the plug on Ukraine outright without something happening to justify that they wouldn't really get a lot of support, and that a lot of their own base, who is already turning on them, would obviously come out and lash out against that, because, you know, it's already happening, right? Despite this argument, it's already happening. And it's happening because of what had happened between him and Zelensky. It's also happening because of all the firings that Doge has been doing. It's also been happening because of all the tariffs that he's been attaching, which we're about to talk about in a second, right? There's a lot of regret starting to muster up into the air, thank God, in the MAGA party, right? So, today, what was last night? Tariffs, the dreaded tariffs that he's been promising, the tariffs that were froze for a time being, they've arrived. They've arrived in a nice sweet bow, and if you open up the box and look inside, what do you get? It's a big fat fucking layer of inflation, right? Everything will now be more expensive. Congratulations, guys. You will now be paying 25% more on most things. And I say this slightly exaggerating, because of course, not everything literally instantly increases by 25%. However, it will over time, and more than likely you'll go up by that much. 25% tariffs. Canada, Mexico, China. And what do they do in response? Immediately, instantly, slap back with tariffs, right? You hit them right back. Right back. So, what does that mean? Economy is going to be in shambles unless this changes. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there who will argue, oh no, it's not going to happen, you know, everything's going to be just fine, it's just going to hurt for a little bit and it will be okay. It's already falling. It's falling, and it's not even happened yet. It's just falling because people are scared of it. And they know that it doesn't spell good news for the United States, or for anyone for that matter, right? It's going to force the hands of our allies to turn their backs on us. For what? We gained nothing from this. And it's so fucking annoying to hear Trump supporters talk about how they gained so much and that the world is fucking better and that America is finally great again, despite them not experiencing any change in their day-to-day lives. And most of them, any changes that they have experienced are all extremely negative, if not life-threatening, right? They lie to us on television, the pundits, right? They lie to their own constituents to their faces at this point, right? And it's part of the reason why we are seeing things like this, where Senator Roger Marshall, right, Republican senator, he holds a town hall with his own constituents, people who voted for him, people who support Trump, right? And this is what happens.
Folks that have traveled a long ways to be here, this is really Oakley's town hall. I'm going to try to focus on their questions. I'm going to say this one time. If you all keep cutting me off, if you're rude, which you're being, I'm going to leave. The people from Oakley don't deserve this. Thank you. All right.
Can we see a raise of hands?
Okay, this is what I'm talking about right here. That if you're going to keep interrupting me, we're not going to do this.
Percentage of those people, and I know you care about the veterans, are veterans. Then that is a damn shame.
Yeah.
That is a shame. I'm not a Democrat, but I'm worried about the veterans.
Well, I yielded to one of my elders, and I appreciate his comments. I think it's a great. I'm not gonna. We don't have time for everyone to stand up. I do got 2 more commitments today. Appreciate everybody making the drive out, and God bless America. Thank you.
So, what happened here? Right? He held a town meeting, a town hall, right? Addresses some of the concerns of his own constituents when it comes to the recent firings of Elon Musk, right? And the withdrawal of veteran, affairs, and as well as benefits and all the good stuff that us as citizens are entitled to, especially the ones who fought and died for this country, right? What does he do? He doesn't fucking address any questions that are stated to him. Instead he deflects, right, and runs away like a fucking coward. Like a coward. He leaves his own town hall meeting because he couldn't take the heat of the questions that are now starting to come, right? And I want to just quickly say this, right? For the guy who had to preface his statement that, I'm not a Democrat, but I care about other people, right? It's fucking, I feel like that says so much about the mentality of the average MAGA supporter, right? It's as if they're scared to admit that they care about other people or care about people's lives on the fear that they'll be accused of being a left-leaning Democrat liberal, right? Which is absolutely crazy to even consider for a brief moment. But he's not wrong in his concerns. Again, Doge, Musk, he's targeted many not career politicians, but career civil servants, right? People who served in the military and the armed forces, as well as the programs that help veterans after they've served, right? He's targeted all these things. He's withdrawn so much funding, and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, 250,000 people have been fired so far.
We're not in a cult.
Here is
not
another
as a
one.
party.
Another town hall meeting, right, where this dumb fuck so boldly claims he's not in a cult. Just fucking crazy, right?
We're not in a cult. Not as a party.
Elon was going to be the main topic tonight, and he's going to continue to be the main topic tonight because we are all freaking pissed off about this. You're going to hear it and feel it.
tyranny is rising in the White House, and a man has declared himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
This is in Georgia, just up north from here.
When you talk about tyranny, when you talk about presidential power, I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected. The funny thing is, you're sitting here and a lot of you would probably say those January 6th.
This is bullshit. Let's hear that again. Let's hear this bullshit again.
When you talk about tyranny, when you talk about presidential power, I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected.
This is a statement that, first of all, doesn't even address the concern of the present, right? Second of all, it's a statement that sounds like fighting words towards your own supporters. Again, these people voted for you, fucking dumbass. They voted for you and the party, and you guys ran on certain issues. Of course, you're wiping your ass with those issues. These people are starting to realize that's what you're fucking doing, and here you are having the gall to turn this around on them.
The funny thing is, you're sitting here and a lot of you would probably say those January 6ers who are yelling just as loud as you, who are upset just like you.
He has the audacity to call these citizens, right, who aren't breaking the law, the same as ones who tried to overturn the election and overthrow this country and did break the law and committed multiple felonies and attacked cops, which, of course, in some absurd, obscene, double, like 1984 level doublethink, right? We're out here condemning January 6th insurrectionists, but not the act in which that they committed, right? And apparently still supporting the fucking guy who led the charge in the first place, right? Who is Trump? Who is 100% Trump? So, you know, what is going on here other than just your average everyday doublethink? I don't know. I can't. It's fucking nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Nice to see you putting out content again. Oh, hey, how's it going, Troy? How's it going? Nice seeing you here. It's fucking craziness. Here's another one. Another town hall where you got the people, more MAGA, going against their own leader that they have voted for because of what's going on with Doge. Vote you out. If you can't hear, that's what they're saying. They say, vote you out. I know it's a very low or whatever. This is happening time and time again because when you confront any of these senators or anyone who really supports Doge and Trump's actions right now, they tend to flee away from answering the hard questions, right? Like, why is it that we don't get our veteran affairs supports anymore? Like, where the fuck did it all go? Why is it that healthcare support and research and all this kind of shit went right out the fucking window? You know, this is just, why is it that my uncle, who's worked for the government for 40 fucking years trying to help citizens achieve whatever X goal, has lost their job over fucking night? Like, why the fuck is it that all these things are happening? And why is it that the Republican senators, or any of the senators in general, aren't fucking doing jack shit about it? They're letting Doge stomp all over our fucking country. All over the fucking country. It's disgusting. And to add another level of Trump regret that's occurring, right? The recent debacle with the whole Epstein files, right? For anyone who doesn't know, they were promised to release these files along with the MLK and the JFK and the aliens and all the other fucking conspiracy theories, right, that have come out. Trump ran on a platform saying that he was going to release all these once he became in office, right? So far, which I haven't even seen, but he's announced it, still haven't seen these files. The MLK and the JFK files, they were released Not sure what the fuck was in it that was a bombshell because nobody reported on it. However, then comes along the question of whether or not he's going to release the Epstein files, which he hedged on when he first asked, right? I've played this clip before where they asked him in an interview, hey, are you going to release the Epstein files? And he kind of just went around and was like, oh, well, not right away. I mean, there's a lot of things we got concerned about. We got worried about the privacy and all this kind of shit. And we have to make sure that nobody's names, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was kind of like it wasn't a straightforward answer. It was just him saying that he's maybe going to do it, but it might be a messy thing and it might not be the best thing to do. That's what he was arguing for, right? And then, he gets elected, he gets a lot of pushback from that. Gets elected, and now he's got Pam Bondi, he's got Kash Patel, and they're all saying, hey, we're gonna get these files. And not only are we gonna get these files, but everyone's gonna fucking see it. Everybody in the world's gonna see these files, right? They got all these crazy little Republican, conservative, influencers from social media. All of them that came out. They're holding out these big ass fucking binders, right? And it just says Jeffrey Epstein, Part 1, the file release, right? Everyone's expecting a fucking bombshell. So, what happens, right? They release some files, quote unquote, they released some files, right? What they really did was they posted, at least the Judiciary, I think I'm saying that right, to their own Twitter, posted a link. And what did this link go to, you may ask? When you clicked on the link, you were met with this bad boy right here. And this isn't a joke. This isn't a joke. I mean, this is a joke. But the act of this happening wasn't a joke. This is a fact, right? It is a fact that the Judiciary posted a rickroll. It was a tiny URL /it was a Jeffrey Epstein version 1 or some dumb shit. That was the URL, and it led you to this. And it was on there for quite some time. It was on there for at least a whole fucking day before they put it down, right? And then they actually released some files. What did they release? What did you see when you fucking, looked at it? It was a bunch of the same old information we had already. All of it. All the information we already had was in the supposed files that they had released. Nothing was learned. Nothing new. So, pushback, right? Not just from the left, but also from MAGA. A lot of pushback. Musk was asked a question about this not too long ago. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull that up. Should have had that up for y'all, but I'll pull it up. Because, Joe Rogan had him on not too long ago. And asked Elon about the whole files thing. Sorry, what'd you say, Johnny? He said, I sent you a clip on Discord. I had an epic game with Punisher. Actually a few games, but I wanted you to check out. Oh yeah, sure, I'll check it out once I can. When I get a chance, once I can.
Elon Musk.
Oh shit, you know what? I'll pull it up from this guy, because he's got it already. I think. Because you know how fucking long his podcast could be. I'm not about to sift through hours of bullshit just to see what the fuck he had to say about some nonsense. So they asked him about the Ponzi scheme. Where is that? Alright, so regardless, I might not be able to find it right now. Actually, no, I can find it. I'm just gonna have to pull up someone else's content. Which I don't ever really like doing, but I guess I don't mind. For now. Nah, fuck it. It's too much work. Anyways, Joe Rogan had Elon Musk on. He asked him, hey, what happened with the fucking Epstein files? And he's all like, it's just kind of hard to get all this information out because essentially what happened was we were put captain of a fucking ship that has a hostile crew on it or some dumb shit. So, it's going to take us some time. We're going to have to just fire a bunch of people and get those people on there and blah, blah, blah. Bullshit information. Bullshit fucking claims. You know why it's bullshit? I'll tell you straight up why it's fucking bullshit. Trump was the president of the United States when Epstein was arrested. Trump was the president of the United States when Epstein was in jail and when he killed himself. He had William Barr in the same position that Kash Patel is in right now. He had complete control and access to the Jeffrey Epstein files for his whole administration, right? Again, what did he do? He held on to it. He didn't release it. After his administration, he goes around acting like Biden is the one who's trying to hold on to it and keep it in close clutches and safety so the world doesn't find out what he's up to, right? However, here he is again. Administration, complete control over the ship, not just the ship but the crew. He's replaced the whole crew and put his own crew on there. Why is it so hard for him to get the files from the people who he himself hired and listen to every fucking word that he says? It's a front. So today, Pam Bondi comes out and says, hey, guess what? Guys, I got a whole brand new truckload of Epstein files and the FBI just dropped it off, right? Yay, we got the files now, right? We still haven't seen them. She's talking about how they're going to be dealt with as fast as we can. You know what's frustrating to me is I know that they could act faster, right? And I know that they could act faster because of their response when it came to something like the whole Hunter Biden laptop bullshit, right? How fucking quick did they want every file on that laptop accessible to the entire general public on the internet? They wanted that shit done within the millisecond that shit had broke news. The millisecond. If Facebook first, what was it? No, actually Twitter did this. I think it was Twitter or Facebook. One of the social media companies had deleted posts regarding that whole topic for less than 24 hours, and the entire MAGA base thinks that had lasted for a whole 2 to 4 years long, right? Which is bullshit, because they wouldn't even be able to know anything about it if they couldn't get access to the information that they're saying that they couldn't get access to. Somehow they couldn't get any access to information, but they know all about it, which is fucking, absurd and bizarre. But again, we could tell and know that they could act in ways that are much more faster and ways that are much more reckless because they've done it time and time again before. Why would it be the case that now all of a sudden they want to take the time and they want to be as precise as possible and they want to make sure that nobody, innocent gets wrapped up and all that kind of bullshit, right? They don't give a fuck about any of that stuff when it comes to the rivals, but definitely if it comes to protecting their king, right? Who is Trump to Epstein? His best friend for 10 years, right? Fucking, not competition, but more like a comrade. Someone who made a lot of flights with him to his private islands, according to the files that were released before and just recently, right? You can double confirm that. It's in the new files, the new files, right? Bullshit. Who is Trump to Epstein? I want to know. And something tells me that the files that they so desperately claim that they want has those answers in them. When we get those files, I shit you not, when we get those files, it's going to be just big ass blocks of black lines. Just every so often you'll see a sentence. Right? It's just going to be line after line after line, just fucking crossed out and covered up. And you'll see something like Trump orders lemonade at the bar, has conversation with Epstein. Like, it's just going to be random nonsense and bullshit that goes nowhere, right? And will they finally take a step back and look and be like, this is suspicious as fuck? Will they finally do that, or will they just be like, you know what, this is actually enough for me. This is exactly what I needed to confirm in my mind that Hillary Clinton and the Pizzagate scandal was all fucking true, and that every single left-leaning politician right now is a genocidal, pedophiliatic, fucking zombie vampire from outer space who wants to turn all my kids gay and the opposite sex of what they were born as, you know? Psycho shit. It's actual doublethink, all this stuff. It's actual doublethink. I can't stop but be reminded time and time again of a passage, I guess you could call it a passage, I don't know, a paragraph, you want to say, from 1984. And I was planning on reading this to you guys the other day, totally slipped my mind. I'll do it today. And in this passage, or in this paragraph, you could definitely see the mentality of MAGA and its movement laid out in a much more eloquent way than I could even possibly put it forth, right? To know and not know, to be conscious of complete truthfulness while telling carefully constructed lies, to hold simultaneously two opinions which canceled out, knowing them to be contradictory and believing in both of them, to use logic against logic, to repudiate morality while laying claim to it, to believe that democracy was impossible and that the party was the guardian of democracy, to forget whatever it was necessary to forget, then draw it back into memory again at the moment when it was needed, and then promptly to forget it again, and above all, to apply the same process to the process itself. That was the ultimate subtlety. Consciously to induce unconsciousness, and then, once again, to become unconscious of the fact that the act of hypnosis you had just performed had happened at all. Even to understand the word doublethink involved the use of doublethink. It is complete contradictory ideologies. All the time. All the time. It's only whatever is useful at the moment, it is when it is brought up. So, for the fact that Jeffrey Epstein files locked away during Biden's administration, that's all they need to hear to confirm in their minds that there was no other way for us to access those files, and that the elite has been trying to keep it safe for them and away from us, so we can't, seek out justice against them for their crimes, right? But we will forget, they conveniently forget, that Trump was in office when he was arrested and had complete 100% access to these files, yet never released them. When he was asked about releasing them, he hedged. He made it seem like he was concerned about a bunch of other shit that was irrelevant, and clearly shows he does not give a fuck about seeking justice against Epstein or any of these rich elite pedophiles and oligarchs that he has so much to benefit and gain from being in the same bed with him. It's disgusting, right? Absolutely disgusting. Twitch has banned Hassan Piker. This is random, okay? And I'm not gonna talk about this for more than like 4 minutes, not even. He got banned for talking shit about some senator and saying something along the lines about how he should be killed by other Republicans, and yeah. He should have been banned forever ago, in my fucking personal opinion, for many different fucking reasons. He has not been banned because the CEO has a hard-on for him, right? So, whatever. It's probably only gonna be for a week and some change, but this dipshit had felt the need to go out and make a whole, quote-unquote apology video, or whatever was that cringy shit that he had posted before. He just felt the need to do that, and it was definitely not necessary. I wish like a fish, or I wish I was a fish, whatever the fucking saying is, that he would care about Ukraine as much as he does in terms of Palestine, right? However, it doesn't seem to be the case. And again, I don't know what is going on in this country or the general vibe around the world where it's okay to accept people invading your country and just fucking giving props and rewards to the people who do so, right? I got an interesting, nice little video to top off this whole hour with. I got Walter Masterson, awesome guy, as well as a couple other people like the Jolly Good Ginger, going to these rallies and was a CPAC most recently, confronting these people head on. I want to do this one day. I don't have the financial support and means to do so. However, life will change and hopefully one day I will be able to do that, and that would be very nice. But for now, the best I can do is do this online, and maybe very soon, if God willing, maybe I'll go to some rally out here and risk getting shot and fucking killed. So, here it is. Now I'm gonna start this off talking to one of the January 6th insurrectionists who were pardoned.
January 6th? Oh, so you're one of the terrorists? Well, the J6ers, they're getting arrested for child porn. What's a lot? No. More than one.
I'm the most recently released January 6er. I got out on Valentine's Day. I spent an additional 26 days after receiving my pardon being transferred to 7 different federal facilities all over the country for a nonviolent misdemeanor traffic infraction.
Well, the J6ers, they're getting arrested for child porn.
No, what's a lot? What's a lot? There's been,
okay,
I know.
More than one. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. I mean, there's 1,600 J6ers. They're
bound to be some child porn in there.
Well, I mean, it's J6. The defendants represent a large swath.
Should Trump pardon them for the other things?
I think child pornographers and child sex offenders should be put to death immediately. I don't believe that a pardon for something so heinous, so violent and disgusting is warranting of a pardon that's a reflection of the injustices that we endured.
I was actually at January 6th.
Yeah.
I was on Capitol Hill on January 6th. So I saw everything. So I get really upset when people are like, oh, it was peaceful and non-violent and everything.
So you say it was like everybody saw it, right? Let's not lie. This shit was probably one of the most recorded fucking events in human history. I mean, in terms of like how many fucking cameras from different types of people and different types of cameras and different types of angles that had been recorded from all this shit, right? We're talking about like nearly everybody with a phone had some recorded evidence of what had went down that day. And some of these people still feel like they can get away with straight up lying about events, right? Just by misconstruing the perspective in which one viewed one video, or trying to go about their lack of understanding in terms of how crowd control even works when it comes to Capitol Police and stuff like that, right? They don't even bother to try to look into some of these things. They don't even think about it. It's like it doesn't even fucking occur, so they just assume dumb shit that they hear online, like cops are letting people in, and it was all a Fedsurrection or whatever the fuck it was.
What would you say? It was violent? It was a violent day?
I watched it. I was there.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
I saw doors get ripped off, and people were like it was peaceful and it was all Antifa.
No, it certainly wasn't all Antifa. It definitely wasn't. I mean,
you've all gotten your pardons. You can be honest now.
Yeah, no, I've got no incentive to do anything other than to tell the truth. And the truth is, the protest was overwhelmingly peaceful until
there's no proof of the FBI being there.
No. So an FBI confidential human source.
So frustrating. All right, so I've heard this before. I think you posted a little thing on here too. The claim that there were FBI informants there that day, as if that's a direct proof that there was definitely a Fedsurrection, doesn't even make sense. And again, when you look up what a fucking, or is it a federal, whatever it is that they think, informant, when you look at what that is, it's not somebody who's dressed in plain clothes acting like a spy for the FBI and CIA. That's definitely not what the fuck is going on, right? And when they say that they're in the area, it doesn't mean that they're there at the rally, right? So they're talking about in reference to people who may like, well, once, maybe like a couple years ago, had worked with the police and gave off a tip and tried to like help them figure out like where some drug dealers were or whatever the fuck it was. Like all of them were completely unrelated to what was even happening. All of them were completely unrelated to what was happening. We can't know the specifics because again, you know, confidentiality, FBI, and shit like that. You know, it's kind of important to keep that kind of data preserved and classified, essentially. But still, like, it's nuts that they assume that even just a handful of these guys, because at most, I think they believe it was like 6 to 10. I guess. How the fuck is it that they alone caused all this shit?
Is paid by the FBI to be there, not all 16.
Here it is. I'll read it for you guys. FBI confidential human sources were present during the January 6th Capitol riot primarily to gather in for intelligence on potential threats, particularly related to domestic terrorism. of the 26 CHSs were either, what is it? Of the 26 CHSs in Washington, D.C. that day, only 3 were specifically tasked by the FBI to monitor individuals linked to domestic terrorism cases. The remaining CHSs were either acting independently or had no direct FBI assignments for the event. That's what I was trying to talk about. That's what I was trying to mention. All right, only 26 is a little bit more than what I said. All right, but still, 26 people potentially causing all this, a whole Capitol insurrection, right? It doesn't make any sense. And again, almost all of them were not even there that day, and the ones that were there that day weren't even acting in regards to what they think it were acting for, right? So, impossible. Let's read the next paragraph. The CHSs were not authorized to engage in illegal activities, incite violence, or enter restricted areas. Although 4 entered the Capitol and 13 accessed the grounds, these actions were not directed by the FBI. The purpose of their presence was to provide information on extremist groups and other potential threats, but their involvement has sparked debate and conspiracies theories regarding their roles in the events. I wonder if this is like a ChatGPT fucking response. I'm only saying that because of these sources at the end.
Them were, and that's enough. My statement regarding that, we can talk about that all day. Overwhelmingly, it was a peaceful. My statement regarding that, we can talk about that, but at least 3 of them were, and that's enough. My statement regarding that, we can talk about that all day. Overwhelmingly, it was a peaceful event. There was a protest that got out of hand.
3 motherfuckers. Actually, it doesn't even take. All it really would have taken was just one motherfucker. One motherfucker in their mind would have been enough for them to believe that the whole thing was orchestrated by the FBI and the CIA as a honeypot.
And the protest got out of hand because what I witnessed was the Metro PD and the Capitol Police using wanton aggression against overwhelmingly non-violent protesters like myself. So I was there. I can see. They could have kept it calm. It wasn't.
All you gotta do is take a couple looks at just a couple videos from that day, and you could see what he just explained was not the case. Definitely is not the case. Right? Time and time again, I hear, oh, they were all peaceful. We never attacked, blah, blah, blah. Yet, time and time again, I can find videos of them assaulting cops, of them breaking shit, of them fucking jumping over things they're not supposed to be going, and entering places they're not supposed to be in. Like, time and time again. And, of course, their mental capacity and bandwidth is so fucking short, they can only recollect things within 15 to 30 second time frames, right? So to sum up something that happened over the course of the entire fucking day, and something that includes information dating back at least a week or 2 before that had happened, it's crazy to ignore all that kind of shit just because they think that they saw something that clearly isn't even happening on camera. It's fucking very frustrating. It's very fucking frustrating. You should watch the interview with the head of the Capitol Police that day. What is it going to show me that I haven't seen already? This is something that we've watched so many times, and every time I follow any rabbit hole or any fucking claim that the cops were up to no good and that the cops let them fucking in, all I find is people not understanding crowd control. That's all I end up finding, is people not understanding crowd control, people not wrapping their mind around the fact that we only had a handful of people to guard the Capitol because Trump was not sending any support. And because of the handful of people that were there, they had overwhelming forces, right? Well in the thousands. I forgot how many insurrectionists were there that day. We had too many people to deal with. They had to figure out what's the best method of approach in making sure that these people don't find the politicians and get their way with them. And when they say get their way with them, you know, when you got fucking people walking in with a whole goddamn, what is it, a hangman's thing, a noose, and a whole fucking shit, talking about hang Mike Pence, it would make sense to me that their tactics would probably fit the bill in trying to divert attention and trying to control the crowd as much as possible in whatever direction that they needed to, because their objectives was to enter the building, right? So it will give you insight into what happened that day from the person in charge. The person in charge should have been like Trump. He should have called the National Guard. Like, it's insane. Like, the Capitol, oh my god, there's so many things that went wrong this day. It's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating to see it every single time. Just so fucking frustrating.
and secure the Capitol. Is that her?
Nancy Pelosi is not in charge of the Capitol. Donald Trump is in charge of Capitol.
100%. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Nancy Pelosi was in charge of that. No one else was in charge of this shit. Donald Trump was in charge of this shit.
Did he or did he not send additional federal troops?
Hours later.
No, well, actually,
Hours later.
The night before, I got a notification from CNN that said D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said no additional federal troops are needed.
Yeah, all of that's been debunked.
It's all been debunked.
It's all been debunked. It wasn't Nancy Pelosi. It's not Capitol Hill's not the Vatican. Donald Trump can send in troops whenever he wants.
That's not wrong.
Jolly Good Ginger has been.
This is what's so frustrating is that we know that Trump wanted this to happen because of his lack of response and how long it took for any help to arrive whatsoever, right? It took way too long. And on top of that, all the rhetoric leading up to that, all the fucking rhetoric, just constant antagonizing and pushing for them to do something about what had already been declared as a loss for the party. They just couldn't accept it. They just could not accept it. They could not accept it. And they did all this on another lie, on the back of another lie, that the election was stolen and that the whole thing was a fraud, right?
Spotted by two different J6 domestic terrorists. The video where you called a J6 terrorist a terrorist got a lot of attention.
I'm super happy. I got pardoned.
You got pardoned from what?
January 6th.
Oh, so you were one of the terrorists? It did. It made its rounds on.
About what? You talking about the guy he was talking to, or the guy with the microphone? Damn, I fucking knocked over my hook. There we go.
Twitter. Do you actually work for ICE?
No, not at all. Nope.
Explain the outfit.
This guy's crazy right
It's $29.99 on
This guy's
Amazon.
fucking
I would
nuts.
recommend buying a small if you're my size. This one's a little too loose for my liking. But yeah, if you want some entertainment, wear this and go to a Home Depot in a sanctuary city like where I live right now, Washington, D.C., and you'll see all the illegals. Not all of them, but you can maybe see a lot of them start to run away. And you feel like a group fitness instructor. It's really good.
Who does that? Like, who does that? Like, and this is just like a surface level of this guy. This guy is one of the other insurrectionists that day who got pardoned and whatnot. His mentality is disturbing.
And you actually think that's funny?
I think it's hilarious. Absolutely. What's not funny is them illegally.
There you have it, everybody. One of the worst people I've seen here at Seatpacket. That's saying something. Appreciate it.
Every officer there was outnumbered at least 10 to 1. At any given moment, 10 to 1. The officers
and
there.
that was by their superior's choice. They chose not to bring them there. They got an officer force at the time of 2,000 officers. Captain Mendoza, who's now inspector, really stupid. She shouldn't have been promoted. Admitted that only 360 people she called in for that day, despite all the warnings that they said, "Oh, something terrible is gonna happen." And on top of that, all the counties which they regularly bring in for big protests told them, "No, you wait out there." And as we know, they denied the National Guard.
That was actually a miss because that was hearsay. There's also tons of other footage of everyone else and Congress people desperately trying to call in reinforcements.
This is such a complicated day, but you know what's very interesting, and I think it's worth digging into more.
William Pope's behind that bullshit. It's too complicated. Get into it.
Admitted,
You're willing
and
to
as
be
early
here
as
and do that.
2023, on court docket, that at least those two plainclothes officers were right up at the front, telling people to go past the barricades, go up the stairs.
Of all the things that never happened, that never happened the most. At the end of the day, you were there.
It did not happen. And constantly, I've been linked and shown the video of them moving the fucking barricade and whatnot. Again, crowd control tactics. They're going to jump over and push through that fucking barricade regardless, right? So we might as well get that shit out of the way so they're not fucking hurting anyone and whatnot. They had already jumped over the barricade. That's the most frustrating part, is that they had already forced their way through. They were already doing that shit. And you could see them moving the line back, trying to get back in front and getting to the next checkpoint so they could prevent more penetration, I guess, into the Capitol, which is, it's just so frustrating. Oh my god.
It was the best day of my life.
That was the best day.
It just felt like
it gets me a little bit it gets me really heated up because it's the one time in my entire life, or at least that I could see looking back in the last like few decades in the United States, where I've seen the Union damn near collapse in a moment, in a single fucking moment, right? We had all of Capitol Hill, all these fucking politicians, all these incredibly important people at threat. We also had the vote, the election about to be overturned from some crazy shit like this. It's so frustrating because I'm someone who gives a lot of fuck about this country, who really cares about this fucking country. So to see such retardation storm up the front and damn near cut the head off of this whole operation, this whole United States experiment, it's just so frustrating. I just can't, it's hard for me to put into words. This guy does stink. Welcome, Christopher 222222006. What's going on? You caught me in a moment.
Living in a like modern day Boston Tea Party, but it was so much more less damaging. Like,
why was it a tea party? It
felt like it was a spirit. Yeah, and it was beautiful. It was the American spirit there. It's like, hey, a lot of people were kind of pissed off, you know, at the moment. You know, it's like, yeah.
How could you see it as that? Like, how could you see it as that? We had a fair election. Like, we had a democratically elected candidate. The people voted for this. They chose this. And you guys fought against it under the lie that it was stolen and that it wasn't democratically elected. You guys damn near destroyed the democratic process. For what? For fucking what? You guys are lucky that Trump won in second term, because if he didn't, you guys would still be in jail. You guys would still be in jail for doing actual crimes, right?
Capitol Hill on January 6th.
Stop.
I was
the voice of the people, man.
All because they couldn't handle losing.
I feel bad the government tried to put plainclothes officers telling us to go further into a giant setup and then held us on charges saying...
Yeah. Of all the things that never happened, that never happened the most.
Hey, so what's your message out here?
My message didn't happen. There's so much, and people still hang on. Like, one of the more frustrating things that I've experienced in my life, and this happens with so many topics, is that a person will hear some bullshit that had came out the moment this had all unraveled, right? So let's say, for example, January 6th just happened yesterday, and they're hearing all this stuff on Twitter and this and the third, and they carry on with the rest of their lives believing that that thing that they heard about this event that day had always been true. It was true from the first moment that they heard it, and it still stands as truth to this day without looking into it. And of course, time and time again, do you see that they just accepted all these bullshit claims that came out at the first place, and they formed their entire persona and their mentality and their opinions around not just this event, but as well as their political ideology and how they were going to vote moving forward. They changed all of that regarding lies that they just blatantly accepted with no fucking filter at all the moment it came out, right? And it's so frustrating to have to fight through that, because as somebody who's trying to convince someone, right, let's say if I care about someone and they have this crazy opinion, I'm trying to convince them of this stuff, I have to do an ungodly amount of legwork, right? I have to go fishing for whatever the fuck it was that their claim came from, so to find the source of their claim. Then I have to find all the information that proves without a shadow of doubt that this was not the case, right? And I have to make sure that it's not going to be from some source that they're going to immediately say, oh no, I can't believe that because it's like left-leaning or some dumb shit, which is another headache in itself, right? Go through all that trouble for them to just not listen to any of it and tell me that they heard something new like last week about something completely unrelated. And it's a nightmare. It's fucking nightmarish. It's more double think. It's more like 1984 rewriting the way things had happened in your mind and trying to convince everybody else that that's the case by repeating it time and time and time again until it sticks.
Super happy. I got pardoned.
Wait, you got pardoned from what?
January 6th.
Oh, so you were one of the terrorists?
No. Actually, I'm one of the people that walked in with permission from Capitol.
Nobody gave you permission. You're a liar.
They did. You want to watch a 28 second? $20.
You're a fucking liar. No, I don't want to watch any of your. I don't want to watch any of your. No, listen.
I can walk right up there. Is that what you were just about to say?
Can I finish?
The building, right?
Listen.
Just so you know,
on joint session of Congress.
Talking this close.
Look at
just
this. You see this cop back there? First of all, you see him standing back there. Second of all, it's nuts how sensitive they are to just being told to shut up and be quiet. Like, immediately he starts making it into a physical thing. Somehow he took this as a physical threat to his own safety and security as a person's.
Don't put hands on, because I'm not putting hands on you.
Did I touch you?
No, I'm letting you know, because you look a little amped up, and I just...
Well, I'm a veteran of this country, so when I watch terrorists try to take over my country on January 6th, it low-key pisses me off. Did you witness all the terrorists go in the building that day?
I didn't witness the fights, I'll tell you that. I also witnessed officers telling me I could go further into the building.
Bullshit.
Do you want to see it or not? It's 28 seconds of your life.
All right, show it to me. Let's see it. I want to see it.
What's your name, by the way?
This
Jolly.
the same thing that happens every
was your inmate number?
fucking time. I have an argument with people about January 6th. They were like, oh, I got the proof, I got the footage, I got the video, I got this, that, and third. You know, this guy was actually there, so I guess he has his own quote-unquote recorded evidence, right? But every time I see them pull up a fucking video and them show me some bullshit, it's like the smallest, shortest fucking clip, 3 seconds long, shows me absolutely fucking nothing, and they try to spin it as if it's this. When I go and look for the whole fucking clip, I see something completely different from what they were telling me, right?
I'll refer to you as 377943. All right, I'm here with inmate number 377943, previously pardoned by Trump for his terrorist activities, and he's going to prove his innocence here, stating that the Capitol Police let him in the building, and he's got video of that. I'm going to watch it.
Super cool. You're super cool. Appreciate it, guys.
So in the video where I can see nobody, inmate number 377943 says that, hang on, the guy said, you're super cool, go that way, is a Capitol Police officer who let him in the building.
Can you believe that? Can you believe it? Would you believe it? Would you accept that as evidence to his claim? A video where you can't see nobody, so it's essentially just an audio recording of apparently, supposedly, some cop telling him that he's cool people, right? And then he goes into detail explaining about how statues, he was asking about statues and wanted a tour, and the cop was giving him a tour. That's not there. It's a fucking crazy claim that you have this claim and there's no evidence of it, despite the fact it would have been really easy for you to have the evidence. It would have been so simple. You're clearly capable of recording shit, right? You're clearly capable of doing that. So why could you not record in better detail the supposed interaction you had with the police officer on Capitol Hill, right? Which, of course, this audio that he heard just now could have been recorded at any time, anywhere. Shows the fucking nothing. And even if we were to take it as fact, right? Even if I was to say, hey, this is a genuine audio recording of a police officer on Capitol Hill on January 6th speaking. Even if I were to accept that, what he said in that recording does not imply whatsoever, not even a little bit, that he and the rest of the cops that are there are about to give a grand old tour to all these people, let them in and fucking do whatever the hell they want. None of it's, all he says is, you're cool people? What the fuck does that even mean? In reference to what?
I don't know. I said, hey, I was told there's cool statues to look at over here.
At this point, Yaposaurus Rex goes on and on about how the Capitol Police officer told him where the cool statues were, where the cafeteria was, and just a long, drawn-out bullshit story to imply that he was there with the permission of Capitol Police, which we know to be a lie. But then he said this.
I wish that day was a real insurrection, because I think a lot more lives would have been saved because of the disasters Biden administration. So many people have died. Look at Afghanistan. Maybe perhaps you fought over there and you're pissed like a lot of my friends that are veterans at how they dealt with that situation. 40 million people over there now suffering because of Biden.
Blah, 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 blah. The guy who's never been to Afghanistan talks about how the withdrawal from Afghanistan was botched and all the other ways that Biden made America unsafe and getting everybody killed. Meanwhile, Trump is literally doing exactly that right now.
Real one.
This coming from the guy who voted for, the guy who's trying to start a war with Panama, start a war with Greenland, start a war with Canada, who's tanking the economy. This coming from the guy who's never been in the military telling me how withdrawals are supposed to look. Who negotiated the withdrawal?
Do you guys remember that? Does anyone remember this? We were supposed to have fucking no more wars, no more violence, no more fighting already. First day. What the fuck happened? Are we really about to just accept that every promise that Trump makes is impossible for him to keep? Like, are you guys really gonna do that? And just do the best thing you could do, which is lie to yourselves and say he completed all the goals that he said he was gonna do?
Afghanistan. Who negotiated the withdrawal of Afghanistan?
I know this argument. You're saying Trump
Who did it?
originally argued it, but did he implement it? No.
No, because he lost the election.
I think they would.
He did that on purpose.
Lost it,
Another thing.
I know you don't.
Right there. Another fucking annoying ass thing these MAGA supporters do is assume and take accountability, the credit for all the achievements that Biden and left-leaning people have done. All the time they claim the credit for it. They're like, yeah, we did that shit. Yeah, we fucking made that shit happen. Yeah, this is us. Like, no, it wasn't. We left Afghanistan under Biden, not Trump.
Of course, you invaded our capital because your fifis were.
Is there a problem, sir?
Can you see your credentials real quick?
These are real credentials.
From my understanding, CPAC has asked you guys to leave.
Why is CPAC asking me to leave? I'm here legally. I came here legally. I'm being kicked out, so I've really just asked people a few hard questions, and then now I'm being tossed. Oh well, pretty funny actually.
Do you have are you driving a vehicle here?
No. I asked before what did that guy say was wrong, and they just fucking leave. I don't understand how the feelings for certain things could be so strong in one way, and they just don't have anything to confirm those feelings whatsoever, but they just feel those feelings so fucking hard, so it must mean it's real. It must mean whatever I'm feeling has to be real. It must be. It's so frustrating. Dude, like, if you think or know that something is wrong, or you have some really good retort to anything I have to say, or you don't believe in what I'm saying, go ahead and fucking word that shit out, please. Please! If you feel the need to say to me that you don't agree with anything I'm saying, right? Or that something's bullshit, do the extra legwork. Get that shit out. Tell me why. Please show me why.
If you didn't drive, you can actually leave out this exit right here.
I can't exit out that way.
Because now I'm about to get real frustrated and irritated. Alright? You can leave out this way. Okay?
Yeah, man, why are you getting kicked out? It's a free speech convention. It's kicking me out, you know?
No! The free speech convention, guys.
Read about Matt Schlapp. Matt Schlapp? Yeah. Oh, the guy who, like, sexually harassed and sexually assaults people? That guy, yeah.
This is where the irony comes into play. Right? This is where the video gets really interesting. So, it turns out that the liberals weren't the only ones that were kicked out, right? We also got the January 6ers who were also kicked out of CPAC. So, here comes the clear implementation of the doublethink, right? So all MAGA believes that the actions of the January 6 people were heroic and patriotic. Trump says that himself, right? That they were fighting for their country. However, they don't accept people who attack cops and who break the law and force their way into federal buildings and threaten to overthrow the government. They don't like any of that stuff. So how do they deal with the fact that they have someone who apparently are heroes that also simultaneously are terrorists, right? How do you deal with that? So you claim to be for them on the camera, right, for everyone to see, and behind closed doors or in private situations like this, you kick them out. You don't have anything to do with them because they are one step too crazy for y'all, right? They actually went through the trouble of doing this kind of crazy shit, going onto the Capitol, committing terrorist acts, trying to overthrow the government. They're scared of that kind of shit, right? However, it's very good for, politically speaking, it'll score them a lot of points if they show support for them and paint them out to be a hero. It's clear doublethink. This is actual, literal, fucking doublethink. You cannot have these two worlds where they're heroes while also being criminal terrorists, right? So you're gonna kick them out of every single fucking, what's the CPAC convention they go to now? Are they not allowed in any of the Trump MAGA rallies now? And for what reasons? What reasons?
I got tossed too. Wait, why'd they toss you?
In indignity to the American
What's
people.
even more nuts is that they will not see why.
Why'd they toss y'all?
We have no idea. They will not allow Jake Lang.
They don't understand why.
Well, wait, are these J6 people?
Jake Lang is one of the biggest J6.
They come close. They come so close to having the realization of what the fuck is wrong here, right? And that maybe, just maybe, they're on the wrong side of things, but they can't handle it. It makes them sick.
He has a booth in there. He paid for 20 tickets.
I feel like they've successfully implemented this like shock device in MAGA supporters. If they even come close to thinking something bad, where they have, the thought crimes that happened in 1984, if they even think against Trump, that they have to go to hell, that they're the worst of the worst. that they're fucking libs and they need to fucking die and shit.
Sixers. They took his money and they won't allow him in
They need to go to
CPAC.
jail.
So that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I can understand why they tossed me. You guys should definitely be in there.
Let's rock and roll. You guys who all want to freeze, stay, relax, enjoy, take all the contacts.
It makes no sense.
Wait, do you guys know why Enrique got kicked
Go
out?
back home.
Why did he get kicked out?
Very fucking people that just kicked them out.
Communism.
They'll continue to support the people that just kicked them
This
out.
gentleman was assaulted.
Wait.
This gentleman was assaulted by one of the officers.
Wait, why did they assault you? Why did they assault you?
Where are you guys with? I'm sorry.
I just got kicked out. I'm a comedian from New York.
Okay, yeah, my name's Isaac. All I did was as Jake was being escorted
You can't
out,
say he's a liberal
I said,
because
this is
I wanna talk to him.
communism. And then the officer looked at me and said, do you want to say that again? And get kicked out too? And I said, yeah, I said, this is communism. There's nothing wrong with that. He said, hand me a badge. So I said, no, I paid for this. He said, that's a
I
proper.
hate this. They call it communism. It's not communism, my God, bro. It's not communism. You're so close. You were so close. You were so close. These guys were so close to fucking figuring it out, and they just can't. It's impossible. They cannot do
A
it.
CPAC instead of grabbing
would
on
break
me.
them. It would
And then
break
I said,
them.
okay, I'd like to leave, sir. I'd like to leave. I went to leave out the other door. They blocked the doors from me, grabbed the lanyard by my neck, and ripped it off my neck.
Wait, say it louder. Louder.
Fuck CPAC.
Think about it. They're going against what President Trump pardoned these guys.
Yeah.
Right, so why do you think that we should come out?
Because they're establishment conservatives and don't actually care about our country. They care about their money, their power, and their
There it
fame.
is. There's the excusing, the division. They have to divide them. They just cut them out. They just cut them out like a cancer, right? So if someone in the party all of a sudden just doesn't fall in line with whatever it is that you're believing and thinking or whatever, you just take the knife, you cut them out, you push them out. They were never a part of you in the first place. That's the approach, right? Despite the fact that CPAC is incredibly important in MAGA and the Republicans for a very long time, of course, all of a sudden now they've always been communists and they've always been like this, where they hate free speech and shit like that. It is, again, another form of doublethink, and again, it is them just trying to excrete anything that does not no longer fit their needs, right?
You're so close, man.
Just
I
throw
really,
it down
I
the
gotta
memory hole.
give it to you.
Just
You were very
fucking get rid
close.
of it.
Why'd you get kicked out?
Well, we didn't get kicked out. What ended up happening is I didn't get let in, which is two different things. But we got called in because they're gonna give me my ticket now.
There's a bunch of people from J6 that just got tossed. They just got tossed, and they had a whole booth, and they were like famously tossed.
What just happened? They were just telling me.
What did he
This
do?
time, 5 stops.
What did it?
They said because you caused a disruption yesterday, that they don't want to repeat. Mind you, we were here all day. Like, we were here for hours yesterday. We were folding T-shirts. There was no disruption until
that happened.
Until they came over.
I saw part of the video.
And were literally pushing and shoving him and Rachel.
We all got
That's
thrown
some
out at the same.
bullshit.
I understand why they throw me out. I don't understand why they threw you guys out. It doesn't make any
Why'd they
sense.
throw you out?
I'm not MAGA, so I can understand them not wanting me, but I don't understand why I saw a video of you getting tossed. You're with the J6 booth?
I'm a J6er, yes.
Oh
Do
my
you know why they got
God.
booted out? It's a controversy between the J6 community, and we're divided a little bit.
What's
so.
the division
People
about?
don't want us here. That's all I'm gonna say.
I can understand.
They can't answer the question because it's too close to home.
Nick Fuentes getting thrown out because he says the quiet.
I think at this point,
He says
getting thrown out.
Well, he says the quiet part a little too loud. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, we're not supposed to say that out loud. And so he gets like famously tossed.
I've never seen the guy with a woman before, so.
You know what? That is a fantastic
I like
point.
that. That's the only thing that they said at all in this video. Anyone that I can fucking agree with and sign up with is like, fuck Nick Fuentes. That guy's a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit. Genuinely speaking.
He should just come out.
I'm gonna get smoke in this pan, but I don't care. He should join the large of Republicans.
One question: do you think a man with the last name Nick Fuentes is qualified to be a white supremacist? You know what I mean? Like, you know what? I kind of agree on the left with this. Ideology is ideology when we're talking about like white supremacists.
Of course they pick that at the right time. Again, more double think. Specifically picking things that they've ignored before in the moment that they need it the most, bringing it up, using it, and then rescinding it back into the memory hole once it no longer is useful for them. How you doing, EC94? I'm doing fine, doing great. It's another day, another dollar, right? I suppose. Considering the fact that we're going to be spending a lot more dollars, I guess it's just another day, another dollar plus 25% tariff, right? Whatever that's going to be like. Sheesh.
Ideology, race superiority. It's not your skin color. You could have like those ideologies and be any color, right?
So the white supremacist movement is inclusive.
I kind of want to
you see what I mean? They say things without thinking about it. They set themselves up for being the most hypocritical pieces of shit that could possibly roam this earth, and then when they get called out for being a fucking retard, they do this stupid face, right? And they're like, really? Like, yeah, really, bro? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What did Trump do today? Well, really briefly, he pulled the plug on support for Ukraine, so we're no longer sending Ukraine any money. He also did the tariffs today. So 25% tariffs to Canada, Mexico, and China, and they all retaliated back at us. So we're kind of fucked on that regard. And yeah, that's pretty much, I think that's most of what he did today, which is pretty bad. And he's done a little bit of extra little things too here and there, but yeah, we're pretty much fucked. What a dumb ass for sure. We're 100% totally fucked. We will feel the effects of the tariffs very soon. Of course, it's not going to be instant, but definitely will be soon. The gas, you could definitely expect to go up. Stock market fell quite a bit, mostly out of the fears of the tariffs, not in response to the tariffs yet. We still have not seen what happens, what will happen yet, but time will tell, as it always does. And again, Ukraine completely now in the water and at the mercy of support from Europe, right? UK has promised $6 billion in funds for missiles and shit like that to them. So hopefully, they can gather some more support from the European nations, and hopefully someone puts a rod right up Trump's ass and forces him to actually put money back into Ukraine and turn this ship around, because Jesus fucking Christ, why on earth is the United States of America surrendering to a dictator after we lost absolutely nothing in a war we're not even personally fighting in? Why is it that we're surrendering shit and giving him concessions and giving him exactly what he fucking wants, while having very much a large influence over the president as well as his constituents like Elon Musk? Fucking hell. Jesus Christmas. Seems like Keir Starmer is picking up Trump's slack. Yep, that's what I was trying to pull up here. He's sending over some $2 billion deal for this motherfucker. So I don't know if that will actually be enough, but we'll see. Again, I was speaking about how Ukraine has learned a lot, militarily speaking, in terms of strategy, in terms of technological warfare. We've learned a lot through Ukraine because of the drone warfare and all that kind of stuff. So, there's a lot of new shit in the air that Ukraine has going good for them. However, again, we're kind of faced with the fact of a very large force, as well as anything else Russia has up their sleeves, right? As well as a nuclear saber rattling that keeps fucking happening, and that Trump keeps fucking collapsing like a beach chair too. Dude should be protecting democracy. I like that dude. Yep, I like this dude. I like Macron, especially when he came out into the Oval Office and was not afraid to tell Trump to his face that he was wrong. You know what's nuts, actually, now I think about that? You compare and contrast that interview with him, with Emmanuel, and Zelensky, I would argue that Emmanuel was being way more rude and confrontational than Zelensky ever was, yet Trump's reaction was nothing. It was nothing. He had a little bit of pushback, but he didn't fucking get angry. He didn't threaten to withdraw like our allied support. He didn't threaten anything whatsoever. He just acted like a little bitch. He just accepted it and fucking moved on. However, when it came to Zelensky, on the other hand, he's getting offended by fucking nothing at all, by a fly flying around near Zelensky. He's pissed off about that shit, and he reacts by threatening World War III and talking about how I have all the cards in the fucking world and shit like that. It's absolutely wild to me how they claim the whole thing was about respect and being rude or whatever the fuck, yet they don't care about that when it comes to other people. Like, why don't they care about that when it comes to Musk? Why didn't they care about that when it came to Macron? Why doesn't that come to anybody else? Literally, it's only just fucking Zelensky.
White supremacy. That's kind of my.
Well, you guys is too much.
Yeah,
you
Is
guys.
it DEI then?
I'm guessing there could be some DEI.
It's DE. Oh, it is DEI.
I gotta go meet with the guys.
We're gonna get some more DEI so we could DEI. Oh, jeez. God damn, brother. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I would like to say I have the answers for us, but we don't, and nobody does. All we can do is keep an eye out. I would like to say all we have to do is band together and fucking rebel, which is what we should be doing, and it would definitely be a viable option. However, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Unfortunately not. It might happen, actually, if everyone goes destitute from these tariffs, and if the economy collapses and we all lose our jobs and we have nothing left, right? Because I'm gonna remind y'all, actually this is a hardcore piece of truth right now, right? Let me snooze this ad because I wanna make sure y'all hear this. The reason why society right now in the United States is not banding together and protesting and rioting in similar fashion as we did with COVID is because everybody has a fucking job, and their job stability and security is so fragile, right? It's so on a razor's edge that if they deviate from it even for a day, their financial security, if they have any at all, will collapse into nothing, into fucking dust. And then they would have to worry about not just the responsibilities of someone who is fighting for the rights in their country, but also who's someone who's trying to protect and raise a family or take care of any other personal responsibilities and health crises that they may be going through, right? It's like, they've set us in a trap where we don't have a lot of room to react, right? And even when we do get the room to react, there is so much in the way that we have to fight through to even be able to get something that looks like progress done. We should have done this decades ago. We should have, for sure. We should have done this decades ago because decades ago we had the opportunity and the ability as a country to do so. I feel like everyone wasn't living in such a complex, strenuous, like bubble of life. Like, I don't know how else to explain this. It feels like the majority of Americans, they're not doing super well to the point where they don't have to worry about anything, right? It's not like the majority of Americans have the time and the ability to take out like a month or a couple months or however long it will take to go to DC and to go to their own Capitol Hill or their own like individual states' places and fucking fight and riot and do all that kind of stuff. We just don't have that opportunities anymore or abilities. We did during COVID, right? The government was giving us money. Everyone was already out of a job anyway, right? And that was like a little appetizer, a taste of how things will look if the worst case scenario unfolds, right? Where not just everyone is sick, but everyone's lost their job and everyone can't afford anything because the price of everything has skyrocketed, right? I feel like it's going to take until it's too late for us to have to get up and do something about it, which sucks because that's when the fight is the hardest. The fight is the hardest when we have to wait for everything to hit rock bottom before we try to push back. Because rebuilding everything that we lost is not whatever we rebuild is not going to look like what we had before. It might not even be better. It might be even worse. We might have set ourselves back quite a bit. You know, it's going to take way too long, and many innocent people will die because of it, or be sick at least, or have some type of traumatic fucking situation happen to them in their lives that will make things harder. All because of the actions of a few oligarchs, right, who we just allowed to meme their way into positions of power. We just thought it was a joke, I guess. We thought it was team sports. We saw it like WWE. I don't know. At this point, depends on who you are. You have a whole different excuse. A whole different reason why you've came to the same stupid fucking conclusion that's going to get us all screwed as a country, collectively speaking. I don't know how else to say this. Really don't. There's not much else to say about this shit. I want to do something about it. Can't do much other than preserve myself, which won't be an option for very long regardless. You know, just taking care of our own selves and focusing on our own lives will only go so far when everything's falling apart. You know, I wish I can go back to the time. I was actually saying this to my coworker yesterday. I wish I can go back to the time where I had the opportunity or the option to ignore everything that was happening politically speaking and not have to worry about my life getting sideswiped by something that happens because of politics or the government or whatever. Like, I feel like we all used to live in a time at some point when we were young that could have been the case, and no longer is that the case. Unfortunately, we all have to pay attention to what's going on. Unfortunately, it's getting shoved down our throats whether we like it or not by somebody, whether it be me or whether it be Elon Musk posting non-stop on his Twitter and forcing everyone to have to see every single fucking tweet that he sends out, right, through his algorithm and shit. Yeah. I fucking... It's driving me crazy, guys. It's driving me crazy! The only good bit of news I had to provide today was that Hassan Piker got banned temporarily, and this is a fucking nothing burger, because he should have been banned 300 fucking years ago, and on top of that, I'm pretty sure he'll be back in like a week or two. It did nothing. It did nothing. There's nothing here. Nothing here at all. Let me see if I can think of some good news. Yeah, so The Rock is back in WWE, guys. That's something new I found out recently. The Rock, yay! And John Cena too, yay! And fucking hell, dude. All right, guys, I'm tired. I'm gonna play some games until my girlfriend gets home. So we'll be doing that. Anyone have anything to say before I switch and get out of this political hour? Because, you know, I want to do more than just cover the news and stuff like that. I want to speak, I want to debate people, I want to do all kind of stuff. I need to figure out a way to get some connections to do that. My coworkers keep telling me that it is time to abandon Ukraine. We don't have enough money to send. They're corrupt. They don't want to send troops to die. But all these also apply to if a NATO country was invaded, so I guess NATO is now useless. Do we generally think that if Russia invaded Latvia or Lithuania, Trump would attack? What's also so fucking stupid is, again, like, all those statements that they just said ignores the fact that Russia invaded, that Russia attacked. If we didn't want any troops to die, then why the fuck are you coming after Ukraine? Ukraine didn't decide for that to happen, Russia did. Russia put them into that position, right? So what? You're telling me, your coworkers are telling me that the only solution to prevent corruption and death is to let a dictator get exactly what the fuck he wants every time he demands for it? Like, what kind of... This is the same logic, I said this before, this is the same logic that the kings of England used whenever they got raided by the Vikings, that they thought they could just give the fuckers money to go away and not come back again, that they would be just fine, that wouldn't come and bite them in the ass, that wouldn't teach them, hey, guess what? You could come by anytime you want. We'll give you the fucking money. You could kill a bunch of us. We'll always give you the fucking money. We'll always give you the money to stop fucking killing us. Like, bro, you have to fight back. These are things that you have to fight back against, right? And speaking as people from America to take the cuck position that we should just give them whatever they want to avoid people dying, bro, we're fucking America. Like, we've done such crazy shit in history. Like, we fight against crazy odds and we'll gladly sacrifice blood for freedom and prosperity and good morality and all that kind of fucking shit. What happened to that? What happened to that? Why is it that we now have to bend over for Russia whenever the fuck he wants to? It doesn't make any sense. And what you say about what if Russia invaded Latvia and Lithuania? You're right. He would not attack Russia. He would not attack Russia. They would have the same exact fucking approach with this kind of shit. He'll just be like, hey, listen, it's pretty bad that you're doing that, but you know what, Latvia? Just give him a little bit of your land and then maybe he'll stop doing that. What the fuck? I don't think Trump wants a war with any country. No real leader wants to send their people to die. Well, I could argue that, right? There are real leaders who don't care whether or not they send their people to die because they're trying to lead a good battle or win a certain objective or whatnot. But I don't think that Trump cares about whether or not they go to war, only if that war means profit margins or something to gain for Trump. And again, like, I don't think that Trump will attack Russia. We haven't fought Russia or anyone like that in a long fucking time anyway, right? It would be more of a matter of using, like, sending support to Ukraine like we have been already, sending more weapons and sending more shit for them to fight with, right? So we wouldn't really just straight up do that. But however, if Russia attacks a NATO country, we're obligated to have to go do that. And again, no real leader wants their people to die. However, no real leader would allow their country to just be taken over by someone who forces their way in and starts killing people, right? At some point, especially when it comes to dealing with allies, right? So let's say you're a leader of a different country, but you're allied with another country and now they're getting their shit kicked in. Why is it that you're going to turn around and say, let's not help these people at all, even though we're allied with them? Like, we're gonna just lose all their fucking support? Like, what the fuck? We're gonna just lose this whole relationship that we had with this country, all because we're too afraid to commit to a promise that we've put ourselves into? A security promise. Because again, when we make these promises, right, it's not one way, right? It's not one way. It's not like it's only for them. If we got fucked, right? If we got our shit kicked in, starting to get our shit kicked in, it is expected from that agreement that they would come to our support too, right? So that's the kind of like thing that we're working with here. It's usually, I learned this from playing a game of Civ 6. You can find out really fast doing that shit. It's pretty fun. But again, it's more of like, hey, listen, we need to remind ourselves what's going on here. Because Russia's been doing a really good point at getting people to forget the sequence of events in which this shit has unfolded in. Again, Russia's the one who's attacking our allies, right? Or attacking people who are allied with our allies. He's doing things geopolitically speaking that will, if they are allowed to continue without any pushback, will lead to situations similar to that had happened right before World War II, right? And we need to do, again, at some point you have to do what you have to do, exactly. And Ukraine's doing what he has to do. Zelensky's doing what he has to do for his country. Their country's been doing this from the get-go, right? So it's crazy for Trump to sit here and say that, hey, we don't want people to die for this, but we're okay with people dying for something else, right? Because again, he did say at some point that he was totally okay with sending troops to the Gaza Strip to clean that shit out, right? He did say that shit. So again, it's more about, when it comes to authoritarian fascist dictators, they're always thinking in terms of how can this benefit me the most and how can I obtain more power and more control through these actions, right? It's not so much of I care about my people, so I'm going to do the best for them, even at the expense of my own self, which is what Zelensky's doing right now, right? He's doing the best for his own people at the expense of his own life and at the expense of everything that he might hold dear to himself. He's putting himself on the line in order to get this shit going. And he's been active since day one. He doesn't take vacations like Trump does. He doesn't take breaks like Trump does. He doesn't go fucking golfing like Trump does. He gets straight to the fucking point, and he's trying his best to make this the best of what he's been dealt with, right? Because again, he has been, I guess if you want to go through Trump's logic, he doesn't have all the cards, whatever the fuck that means, right? He doesn't have the biggest military in the fucking world, right? But he's doing the best with what he has. And to tell him that after 3 years of fighting a war that was supposed to have been over in a couple days, right? After being the underdog in a fight and succeeding very well, and despite the sacrifice that has been made to get those successes and to protect that country and that territory, you got this fat fucking buffoon, this orange buffoon coming out telling them that they need to play nice to the people who's been trying to kick their shit in this whole time. It's so disgusting. It's disgusting. It's like you really want him to just give all the sacrifices that these people have made to protect their country. It's gonna go away. It's gonna go away because this guy took offense to some dumb shit in the Oval Office one day because he loves the sweet, sweet nothings that Putin whispers into his fucking ear at night before they go to bed. Because it must be one or the other. It must be one or the other. His criticisms towards Russia do not exist. They don't exist. He doesn't have any criticisms toward them. There's no pressure on Putin. It's nothing. Because they're scared, according to them, they're scared that he's going to do something drastic like launch a fucking nuke, right? They overestimate Putin sometimes, right? They really do. They forget that Putin's just a fucking a thug at this point. He operates like a thug. He's bluffing. He's trying to saber rattle and scare you into his position where he doesn't have to do anything at all, and you'll give him what he wants. When we all know very well that he's not going to stoop to that desperality of launching a nuke at a country and being the very first person in human history to be the guy to use nukes in an offensive manner in that regard. Like, it's besides, I guess, America, right? It's fucking crazy. I just don't think it won't work for him. He's gonna lose all his support, globally speaking. China's gonna fall out with him. They're not gonna be okay with that. No one's gonna be okay with that. It would not work out for him. Fuck. Your coworkers are retarded. EC94, by the way. Fuck. They're saying shit like that. They're fucking brain rotted. Anyways, guys. Let's hop on this game. Actually, what time is it? Alright, what time is it? I'm gonna have to get off because she's gonna be here in like 2 seconds. Anyways, guys, I'll be playing later. Johnny, I'll be on tonight, hopefully. Everyone take it easy, take care, be safe out there. Drink some water. Alright, keep an eye out for the incoming storm. Try to save some fucking money.